morning and welcome to the Retirement Railroad 2.0 and another edition of Workbench Wednesday. And it's been a few weeks, maybe a month since the last Workbench Wednesday, but I've got multiple episodes working at the same time right now. And you get delays on getting parts or whatever. So hang tight. We're still active. And today I want to talk about an intermittent problem that I have on the Retirement Railroad 2.0. And let's take a look. I've got the Motorman running the bi-level commuter train. And I've marked up some areas here that have been giving me intermittent problems due to temperature changes here in the garage and the expansion contraction of the rails, and throws off a couple of sensitive joints ever so slightly that causes an intermittent issue here where I have the red spots marked off here and there. And of course, I'm attempting to recreate that problem, but it's not cooperating this morning. Hasn't derailed yet so that I can show you the issue. And thus the intermittent part of it. What I'm going to do to correct the problem is the issue resolves among these two joints here and here. These are insulated rail joiners going into a piece of flex track. Never a good situation. So that flex track extends all the way up to here. So what I plan on doing is spraying down the ballast and pulling up this 3-foot section of flex track and this 3-inch section of fixed track here. All right, pulling it up, rebend the flex track if possible. If not, I've got an extra piece, a brand new piece if necessary. And what I will do is use the flex track coming right off of the double slip here instead of there. So thus it will be a straight lead in on the flex track without this joint here. All right, I will utilize insulated rail joiners at this point instead of this point, and have a full piece of flex track coming down to here, and then use the 3-inch straight section at this end. That should eliminate this joint on going into the curve, and will flatten out and minimize the joints coming off of the double slip. That's the game plan. So stay tuned and we'll get right after it. All right. So we are first going to soak down this area that I have marked. We're going to soak it down with water, loosen up the ballast from here down to here, and I pulled the few spikes that were left in the track. I pulled those out. So once we have it soaked, we should be able to lift up that and at which point we'll cut the insulated rail joiners here, and we'll get the soldering iron out and desolder this joint here and the joint down at the other end. So the biggest thing to keep in mind is that all the power has to be off. The quickest way for me to do that is shut down not just the power to the rail, but all power to the layout. So with that, Alexa, trains off. All right, so now all power to the layout is off, and we can start soaking the rails. Okay, so it's had a chance to soak in. What we're gonna do first is we're gonna cut these insulated joiners. Peel it up from. Okay. So now should be able to get under and peel up this track. We've gotten to a spot where we have some feeders, so we're going to have to remove those feeders. And with that, we got the long section out. Now we have 3-inch section left to pull out. Here. Nailed. There we go. There we go. Get that section out. All right, so now we got to clean this up and get it ready to lay some new track. All right, so we've got a new piece of track. We've got it laid down and attached down at the double slip end. Now we have to cut to length here at this end. So let's cut that tie away. Here. All right, well, this morning just happens to be Thanksgiving. And as you can see, the track is laid. All right, it has been ballasted, it's firmly in place, so now it's time to cut this joint right here. And I've got the razor saw, I've also got the Dremel. And I don't think I can use the razor saw because of the other track work. So we are left with utilizing the Dremel. Make our cuts, shall we? Alright, we have a clean cut. Now there's one step left before we test it out, and that is to clean the rails. Alright, I've had it running now for a good 15 minutes with no issue. And the secret wasn't the track. Well, it could have been the track. But it appears that the trip pins on the KD couplers between the first car and the middle car were put in a bind, forcing the wheels off the track. So I've trimmed the trip pins, both on the first car and the center car, back a little bit, where they cannot interlock and bind, allowing them to swivel appropriately. And it seems to have done the trick. So we will watch it. All right, so we've got the flex track reversed and trip pins trimmed both on the adjoining cars and on the locomotive, and problem solved. In addition to the tests in this video, the commuter train ran for over an hour during last Friday's live stream without incident, I might add. So with that, I want to thank you for joining us here at the Retirement Railroad 2.0 Workbench Wednesday, episode 47. And remember, y'all have a great day. Bye now.